In other videos, we've discussed using right and left barbs in different ways to achieve a peacock herl body. Remember that as you face the bird, this would be the bird's right side, this would be the bird's left side, thus left barbs, right barbs. For this particular fly, a little different approach. I'm going to select both a right and left barb, and frankly it doesn't matter that much in this application if it's right, left, or both, but I've just chosen in this particular situation a right and a left barb that I've matched together. I've put their back side of their feather, in other words I'm calling this the back side, the dull side, where that the edge of the barb has more width to it than the face side, where the barbule is more nearer the face of the barb. I put those barbs back to back, and now I'm ready to tie them in by the tip. This tip is very fragile, so I'm going to get rid of that tip. You'll notice that I tied the wire in with one wind of thread right back at the tail. I'm going to counterwind the wire, so by tying it on the side near me, when I wind it counterwound, it's not going to disturb the tail. One wind, because that's all I need to hold it in place while I begin to tie in this material on the near side toward me. But you may say, well, wait a minute. You're going to be pushing those tails out of the way by putting it on the near side. That's why you so carefully put the wire on this side so it wouldn't disturb the tail. Notice I'm one material width in front of the tail now, so I can safely put this material in and it won't disturb my tail. So I'll wind that on back forward, and then we'll go ahead and begin to wind. Now what you'll find is it's a little easier to wind herl with hackle pliers because it just, well, I just feel that I have more control. You may choose to do otherwise, but mostly what it does, if you start handling these barbules in this area, it's going to disturb them and kind of reverse the direction and mangle them a little bit. So I'd suggest you not handle them except near the butt end of the feather. It's a little gentle at first. You have to be a little cautious. Now, why would I wind in this direction? The reason is that I'm going to get an interesting taper. Let's see what happens. I've slightly separated those, so let's try this again. Okay, let's see what happens. Now we're ready to tie off, and you will see that there is a slight taper to this body. And that's the advantage of tying them in by the tips. The tricky part is that you have to be careful to make sure and tie in far enough into the barb that you're not going to break it. What I would do next is I go ahead and wind this wire around, and then I'll tie it off. Let's go ahead and do that. Now I'm ready to tie off the wire, and what I'm going to do is I can remove all of those winds if I want to, and then nothing is going to object to going and tie this over a nice smooth surface. Normally I would encourage you to not do what I just did. I just now tied down over a bare shank. It's more slippery and more likely to come loose. Normally I'd like to have a thread foundation there. But anyway, I've gone ahead and tied it down. I've got a little bit of a thread foundation now to tie down my next material, which happens to be the hackle for this fly, and we'll work on that in another video.